Hi everyone, Susie here from Minnesota, and I garden in Zone 4, and in this tour I'm going to show you the new garden beds that I have created. So last year I had extended these flower beds, so all that was here was pretty much just that went up right here, and then I wanted to extend it. Otherwise it was just the yew shrubs that I had, and that was it. So that was in the late season, so I kind of went with the no-dig method, used the cardboard that I could, put mulch on, let it sit over winter, and then planted this spring. It was very difficult. The ground was really hard. I have massive tree roots that I try not to plant in straight lines, but with those roots I had to work around them. So a lot of the plants in this front bed here I had started from seed in January and February. It's a little more formal, more drifts, and kind of simplistic, but definitely saved a lot of money going this route. I'm very happy. I had them in 3-inch cans, which was really good because digging gallon-size holes, probably I might have given up because the tree roots were unbelievable. So let's get this end. I would say total cost for all of this, what I did, was maybe under $350. It's still a lot of money, but you'll see how many plants I have in here. I saved a lot of money too by starting a lot of these seeds using existing plants, and I went to my local plant sale. But yeah, very, very happy. Down here, there is still a lot of, ground. But what I did is I had lots of wandering Jew cuttings that I had taken. So I'm using it as a ground cover. I want to see if this works out. It's doing really good. And see what happens. I'm a Zone 4, so it definitely will be killed off by a freeze. And then I have Lamium. I just kind of wanted to keep this simple. This area here gets a lot of snow piled on it in the wintertime. So I kind of have it alternated. I think the purple on the silver foliage of the Wandering Jew with the Lamium here will look really good. And I was also going to go with something herbaceous right in here because it gets a lot of snow. But the only thing is so many people were walking through my flower beds when it was dormant. And so they were stepping on my tulips. I'm glad they all pulled through. But it was the delivery men and women and some family and friends. But down in here, and they're all the same, are Bobo Hydrangeas. You can already see that they have their flower heads forming. It's a shorter hydrangea, so I think it'll like this area really nicely. This is the west side of my house, so you can see it starts getting sun here, and it's about 11 o'clock. And it does have dappled sun, and then it does have that scorching sun. I'll show you this block right up here. And it definitely gets warm, but I would say probably at most it gets about 6 hours of sun here. I think they'll like it. Some of these plants are really struggling because I had planted these whenever it was in the high 80s, high humidity. They just need to get planted. And then we had that cold snap. And just the last few days, we've been in the high 90s. We hit 100 the other day, and we're in the 90s for at least the next week. So the yellowing is not due to a watering issue. I have been watered 3 days ago heavily. It's just transition to this heat. This isn't normal June weather for Minnesota. Let me know if you are just having different weather in your area. These three right here, seeds I started, it's a hardy geranium, Pink Vision. They will fill in that area. They're a little scrawny, but I have high hopes for them. Oops, got a cobweb. In here is Palace Purple Heuchera, which the rabbits love. You can see down in here, they nipped off a pretty good area. That's, yeah. So I've been having rabbit damage too. Not going to complain, not as much as some other people, but they definitely have their favorites that they kind of go towards. So I just have a drift of Pallas Purple Heuchera here, coral bells, growing them in the containers and starting them from seed. That was seed super easy, but I do have issues growing them in the garden. So we'll see how these work out. You can see the crispy leaves here. Yeah, so we were 100, very low humidity and high winds. It just wreaked havoc on everything. This is Pulmonium, a Jacob's Ladder white pearl. At some point I probably will go in here and trim off that yellow foliage, but I'm just giving it time to adjust. These are just yew shrubs. I was debating about putting another one in there, but these have been here for 15 years. So it definitely would take it a bit to fill in, so I went with something else. I do like them. They need a trim, but at this point... Oh, okay, the spider was on me. Ugh. Sorry, I don't like spiders. As long as they stay away from me, I have a healthy respect for them. Not cool. And in here I have Dalmatian hybrid, I think cream creme foxglove. It says it's supposed to bloom the first year. It's filling in really nicely. Yes, it has yellow foliage, but look at all of that growth. A lot of this stuff was ready to be planted probably 2 months ago. I started it a little bit early, but it does say it's going to bloom the first year, so we'll see what happens. It's not entirely hardy to my zone. I'm a 4. This says zone 5. I might luck out. I get a lot of snow, so that does help insulate things. If it doesn't come back, it's just, like I said, these were seeds I started. I saved lots of money, but a lot of repeat plantings. In front, I love Lady's Mantle, Alchemilla mollis, which was also started from seed. This has filled in very nicely also since I planted it. It does not even look like it's shocked by this weather we're having. And down in here, I just planted, these are coleus cuttings I had taken. Yeah, that's small because of the rabbits. So it's going to create a drift. I think it'll look nice in here because it has some pink in there, but also some purple veining and some chartreuse. I think it'll look really good in this area. It'll fill in. It doesn't get super tall, but it does spread. It will die, but the reason I did that is because this evergreen shrub, Microbiota decusata, if I'm saying that correctly, I think it's Siberian cypress, is a ground cover, so it will eventually fill in this area. I'll just have to keep it trimmed up back here and just let it kind of branch out. You can see it's already doing that. So we'll see how that works, but yeah, that was my whole reasoning for just kind of putting an annual here. They have grown pretty good. Down here, I've been saying this wrong the entire time also. Heuchera I grew from seed. These were a little trickier than the Pallas Purple. Pallas Purple was super easy. This is Melting Fire Coral Bells. I was crawling at Crimson Ruffles. Not sure where I got that from, but beautiful. Absolutely love that. After this video, I'm going to have to water again. There are some things that are struggling. I will show you. I'm not going to replace them. I will just let them struggle and see what happens. Down here, these are Sun King Aralias. And I had moved 2 of these from this garden over here. And then this little guy right here was moved from the back of my garden. It just wasn't doing really good. You can definitely see it's smaller than the other 2. And they have pulled through very nicely. There has been no shock at all, so very happy. I think I'll like this grouping. They will get pretty big, about 3 feet tall. Maybe not this year with being moved, but next year they will. There's a bee hovering by me. Okay, I'm just gonna And then in back here, I have a black lace elderberry. And this shrub I had gotten from my aunt. She gave it to me in exchange for all of the flowers that I gave her. So I'm so excited. I think that color of foliage and texture will play nicely off of this. It will get big, and I'm okay with that. I'll just trim it up. And I'm hoping it just kind of fills in this area. So this is a part sun area. So I think all of these will like it very well. More lady's mantle. Along with some foxglove. What's that in there? Is that? Oh. I'm wondering if that's a flower spike forming. Oh, I hope it is. I'll be super excited. They get about 3 feet tall. Oh, that makes me really happy. Like I said, keeping this watered, at least, you know, all my watering is kind of concentrated in one area and just kind of make my way around the house. This one is struggling here a bit. Jacob's ladder. Like this right here. But all of this is new growth, nice and green. But, I mean, this one looks really good. I think it might flower too. There's weeding to do in this bed also, but I've just been kind of really figuring out what I need to do first, and then weeding is last. Let me stand back here a bit. Kind of give you a bigger view. Probably not a whole lot to see this far. And I really wanted to design a garden bed without using hostas, because I have so many, and I just wanted to challenge myself because, well, I have so many hostas. I find them easy to work with, but creating something like this was out of my comfort zone, so I'm hoping it looks as good as I envision it in my head. We will find out together. Are these Palace Purple Heuchera I'd gotten from a coworker, and they were just growing in her rock and landscape fabric. They looked really tough. I mass planted them. They're doing really good, except for a few over here, which the rabbits have been nibbling on, but that's okay. This is Arborvitae techni. It will get big, but I'll just kind of keep it under control. I like that different texture foliage. So coming over here, I'm just going to give you a view. So wait, this garden bed, it was just a straight line. So it came out from the house maybe 2.5 feet. And I don't like straight edges. You learn a lot when you first start gardening to now. What is it, 20 years later? So I've learned a lot. So then I extended this all the way out here, coming around. And I really like it. Like I said, I love hostas. This is a Crossa Regal that will get big. That was from a plant sale. This one will look like that one over there, which we will see in just a second. This is just a native bush honeysuckle. It runs. I let it. I like how it kind of cascades. It is invasive, but that's okay. With shade gardening, part shade, I go for the color of the foliage, texture, shape. I never worry about blooms. Oh, stepped on a stick here. This is Curly Fries Hosta. Is this? I don't know if I'm going to pull that. Hope it's not stinging nettle. I've learned my lesson with that. Without gloves, yeah. So this, I grouped them together. All 3 of these were in different parts of my garden. I thought together they'll look really good. Curly Fries Hosta, love it. I can't say enough about it. It's just a cute little hosta. And a lot of these hostas I don't know the names of because I've gotten them from plant sales or friends and family, and I've just misplaced the tags along the year and did not keep really good record. But moved that one along with this one. This, which is really pretty, was back here. So you can definitely see that was not enough room for that one. Isn't that pretty? I love that blue foliage and the variegation. Wish I knew the name. If you know, leave it in the comments down below. That helps me out a lot. A lot of my viewers are really good about doing that, and that helps me out tremendously. I know this one. This is king size hosta. Yeah. And cross up Regal, and the bee is back. And Regal Splendor is over there. So I did not move those. I left some of these. I figured they do look pretty good. There was one in here that I moved. This one I moved from, oh, it was just squished in there. So I want to say that one might be Guacamole. I passed this one up, but this is Hukra. Got from a plant sale. The blooms are really pretty on this though, aren't they? Nice and vibrant. The mosquitoes are out though. Ooh. I bought these, and yes, yesterday when I just came to check on stuff, and these were watered 3 days ago heavily. And look, they're ostrich ferns. I know they're invasive for some of you. I struggle with growing ferns. And there's the proof. I'm leaving it. It might send up new fronds. Yeah, but I liked it for that different texture. I grouped them. I had high hopes. But I'm just, yeah, and the rabbits have been munching on them too. So, yeah, I think they're doomed from the get-go, but they might pull through. I wish I knew the names of these, but back here I planted foxglove. These are the Foxy Foxglove. Because I have the Dalmatian series. I think I have a peach one, creme one, Foxy Foxglove, and then Camelot. I think this is Foxy. But I just kind of mass planted them back here, and then I put one over here. I hope they bloom. I hope they get enough sun to bloom. But this looks so little here. This is another cross of Regal. And I figure that if I wouldn't have put anything in here, there would have been this big gap. Not that that's an issue, but I want to see if these foxglove bloom. And I had so many. I was running out of room in other places. I love goat's beard. So I have one here. This gets to be that size. So yeah, so it gets about 5 to 6 feet tall when it's mature. These are definitely not. They look really good except for that one, which had rabbit damage. I think it'll fill in this spot really nicely. This is a Summon Substance. I can't say enough about this hosta. I love it. It gets massive, so it can just fill in this entire area. European ginger, I like this. I do have wild ginger, which has never gotten any bigger than about a 2-foot clump, like wide. I'm a zone 4, so I don't think this is going to do a whole lot, but it is so pretty. That shiny foliage, I really like it. And down here, I went with this shrub. I was really debating if I should go with the Annabelle Hydrangea, and I decided not to. It does get sun, but it does get a bit floppy. I've had Annabelle in the past, so I thought this would be really nice. It has kind of a blue, lacy foliage, silvery. And I left the tag on. I will be removing it after this tour. So it's a dwarf blue leaf Arctic willow. It says it takes pruning nicely, which the rabbits also love, so they've been helping me out. It's not really hardy in a whole lot of zones. So you can see, yeah, 4 to 6. Oops. And when I was looking this up, it says it can take a part sun situation. You definitely can see that it does get sun, and some afternoon sun too, which is usually like this gap right in here. But yeah, I think it'll get about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. It'll fill in this area. I probably won't let it get that big, but I think it'll look really good. And down here I have some more Brunnera. I think that color, along with this, especially that texture foliage, will look really good. And over here, just moved another Brunnera, grouped it with this one. So eventually, hopefully, it kind of fills in. I left this so I can get to this container to water it. And then I'm leaving the rest open down here also as a path. So if you're new to my channel, just letting you know, this is the size of what a Summon Substance. Well, it's next to the house, so I think this is its own little microclimate. But that's just, I'd say this has been here for about 8 years. But yeah, that's a Summon Substance in full maturity. So it might get a little bit big, but it definitely will cover up this hose or the pipe. And I could replace it with a black hose, like your rubber one where I can just kind of wind it around, but I need it in the wintertime. Otherwise, it would freeze. And this does push out water in the wintertime, for the most part, when we do have rain and moisture. But yeah, this definitely makes me a lot happier. Like I said, I was never really loving the side of the house. I love the hostas, just not the look of it. But I can say I'm definitely liking this. If I decide to put anything in, it'll be more perennials. I don't think I would go with any annuals over here, just because there's a lot of mulch and the ground is super hard. So I'm still debating if I want to put some heuchera in here, just, you know, a color. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this tour of my new garden beds. I know I've been pretty happy with it, except for that. And like I said, that's real life gardening. So I'll give them a chance. Maybe next year they will be beautiful because they've been put through the ringer, right? So yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this tour of my new beds, and bye for now.